The clock on the mantel chimed 7, each resonant toll a mocking reminder of Max's tardiness. I smoothed my dress for the umpteenth time, willing the wrinkles away as if I could iron out the creases in our marriage just as easily. "Anna, honey, why don't you sit down?" My mother-in-law Lily's voice was gentle, her eyes filled with concern. "I'm sure Max will be here any minute." I forced a smile. "You're right, Lily, I'm just being silly." But as I lowered myself onto the sofa, my stomach churned with an unease I couldn't shake. The front door swung open, and Max strode in, his tie askew and a wild look in his eyes. "Anna, we need to talk." My heart plummeted. "Max, what's wrong? You look—" "Not here," he interrupted, glancing at his mother. "Let's go upstairs." I followed him to our bedroom, my legs feeling like lead. As soon as the door closed behind us, Max turned to me, his face a mask of guilt and anguish. "I've made a terrible mistake, Anna. I've been seeing someone else." The world tilted on its axis. "What?" I whispered, gripping the dresser for support. "Her name is Sophia. It started as just lunch meetings, but then—" Max trailed off, unable to meet my gaze. "How long?" I demanded, my voice sounding foreign to my own ears. 6 months, he admitted, and I felt as if I'd been punched in the gut. 6 months, I echoed, my mind reeling. "While I've been here, taking care of your mother, our home, you've been—" I couldn't finish the sentence. Max reached for me, but I recoiled. "Don't touch me," I hissed. "Anna, please, I'm sorry. I never meant for this to happen." A bitter laugh escaped me. "Oh, you never meant for it to happen? What? Did you trip and fall into her bed?" "It's not like that," Max protested weakly. "Then what is it like, Max? Explain it to me. Help me understand how you could betray everything we've built together." Before he could answer, a soft knock at the door interrupted us. Lily's voice drifted through, tinged with worry. "Is everything all right in there?" I opened my mouth to respond, but Max beat me to it. "Everything's fine, Mom. We'll be down in a minute." I stared at him in disbelief. "Fine? Nothing is fine, Max. Nothing will ever be fine again." He ran a hand through his hair, frustration evident in every line of his body. "What do you want me to say, Anna? That I'm a terrible person? That I've ruined everything?" "I want you to tell me why," I said, my voice breaking. "Was I not enough? Did I not love you enough, support you enough?" Max's shoulders sagged. "It's not about you, Anna. I don't know, I got caught up in something I couldn't control." "Couldn't control?" I repeated, incredulous. "You're a grown man, Max. You made choices that have destroyed our marriage, our family." Another knock at the door, more insistent this time. "Anna? Max? Dinner's getting cold." I took a deep breath, trying to compose myself. "We'll be right there, Lily," I called out, my voice surprisingly steady. Turning back to Max, I fixed him with a hard stare. "We're going to go downstairs and have dinner with your mother. We're going to act like everything is normal. And then, when she goes to bed, you're going to pack a bag and leave." "Anna, please." "No," I cut him off. "I can't even look at you right now. I need time to think, to process this. And I can't do that with you here." Max nodded, defeated. As I reached for the doorknob, he spoke again, his voice barely above a whisper. "I do love you, Anna. I know you might not believe that right now, but it's true." I paused, my hand on the door. Without turning around, I replied, "Love isn't supposed to hurt like this, Max." With that, I opened the door and stepped out into the hallway, leaving behind the shattered remains of the life I thought I knew. As I descended the stairs, plastering on a smile for Lily's benefit, I wondered how I would ever put the pieces back together again. The tires screeched as I pulled into my mother's driveway, my vision blurred by tears. I stumbled out of the car, barely remembering to grab my hastily packed bag. The porch light flickered on, and Mom's silhouette appeared in the doorway. "Anna, honey, what's wrong?" Her voice was thick with concern. I collapsed into her arms, sobs racking my body. "It's over, Mom. Everything's over." She guided me inside, settling me on the worn couch that had witnessed so many of our family's dramas. "Tell me what happened, sweetheart." Between hiccuping sobs, I spilled the whole sordid tale. Max's affair, the lies, the betrayal. Mom's face grew stormy as I spoke, her hands clenching into fists. "That no-good son of a—" She cut herself off, taking a deep breath. "I'm so sorry, Anna. You don't deserve this." "What am I going to do?" I whispered, feeling lost and small. "I've given everything to that family. My time, my love, my career." Mom's eyes flashed with determination. "You're going to pick yourself up and show Max what he's lost. You're stronger than this, Anna. You always have been. A knock at the door startled us both. Mom peered through the peephole and let out a string of curses that would make a sailor blush. "It's Max," she hissed. "Want me to send him packing?" Part of me wanted to hide, to never face him again. But anger flared in my chest, hot and fierce. "No, I'll talk to him." I yanked open the door to find Max looking disheveled and desperate. "Anna, please, can we talk?" "Haven't you said enough?" I spat. He flinched, but pressed on. "I made a terrible mistake. I want to make things right." A bitter laugh escaped me. "Make things right? How exactly do you plan to do that, Max? Unsleep with her? Unbreak my heart?" "I'll do anything," he pleaded. "Counseling, therapy, whatever it takes. I love you, Anna." The words hit me like a physical blow. "Love? You don't even know what that word means." From behind me, Mom's voice rang out, cold and sharp. "I think you should leave now, Max, before I forget my manners." He looked between us, desperation etched on his face. "Anna, please, think of Lily. She needs you." White-hot rage surged through me. "Don't you dare use your mother against me. I've been there for her more than you ever have." "I know, and I'm grateful, but she's asking for you. She doesn't understand why you left." Guilt twisted in my gut, warring with my anger. Tell her I'm not feeling well. I'll call her tomorrow." Max nodded, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. "Does this mean—" "It means nothing." I cut him off. "I need time, Max. Time away from you and your lies." His shoulders slumped in defeat. "I understand, but Anna, please remember that I love you. I'll do whatever it takes to prove it to you." As he turned to leave, a car pulled up and a statuesque blonde stepped out. My heart stopped as I realized who it must be. "Max?" Sophia called out, her voice sickeningly sweet. "I was worried when you didn't come home." The world tilted on its axis as the full weight of Max's betrayal hit me anew. He'd moved her into our home already? Max whirled around, panic written across his face. "Sophia, what are you doing here?" But I'd heard enough. I slammed the door shut, sliding down to the floor as sobs overtook me once more. Mom knelt beside me, her arms encircling my shaking form. "Oh, honey," she murmured. "It's going to be okay. We'll get through this together." As the sounds of arguing drifted through the door, I clung to my mother, feeling like a little girl again. But beneath the pain and betrayal, a spark of determination flickered to life. I would survive this. I would rebuild my life, with or without Max. And as for Sophia, well, she was about to learn that hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. The fluorescent lights of the employment agency buzzed overhead, matching the nervous energy thrumming through my veins. I smoothed down my freshly ironed blouse, feeling like an imposter in clothes I hadn't worn in years. "Anna Lawson?" A bored voice called out. I stood, forcing a smile. "That's me." The woman behind the desk barely glanced up from her computer. "Resume?" I handed over the single sheet of paper, my stomach churning. There wasn't much on it, just my college degree and a string of volunteer work. The woman's eyebrows rose as she scanned it. "I see you've been out of the workforce for quite some time," she said, her tone making it clear what she thought of that. "I've been caring for my mother-in-law," I explained, hating how defensive I sounded. "She has Alzheimer's." The woman's expression softened slightly. "That's admirable, but I'm afraid it doesn't translate well to the current job market. Have you considered retail?" My heart sank. I was hoping for something in marketing or communications. That's what my degree is in. She shook her head. "With no recent experience? I'm sorry, but that's not realistic. You might want to look into some courses to update your skills." I left the agency feeling deflated, my mother's words echoing in my head. "You're stronger than this, Anna." But was I? Years of putting everyone else first had left me feeling hollow, unsure of who I even was anymore. As I walked down the street, a help wanted sign in a small cafe window caught my eye. Without thinking, I pushed open the door. The owner, a kind-faced woman named Ellen, listened patiently as I stumbled through my story. To my surprise, she offered me a job on the spot. "Everyone deserves a second chance," she said with a warm smile, "and I could use someone with your people skills." Relief washed over me, but it was short-lived. As I left the cafe, I spotted a familiar figure across the street, Sophia, laughing and linking arms with a friend. She looked carefree, as if she hadn't just blown up my entire life. Before I could duck away, she saw me. Her laughter died, replaced by a look of guilt mixed with defiance. She whispered something to her friend and started walking towards me. My heart raced. I wasn't ready for this confrontation. But as she got closer, I straightened my spine. I wouldn't let her see me broken. "Anna," she said, her voice sickeningly sweet. "I'm so glad I ran into you. I think we should talk." I raised an eyebrow. "Oh, and what could we possibly have to talk about?" She had the grace to look uncomfortable. "I know this situation is complicated, but I want you to know I never meant to hurt you. Max and it just happened." Anger flared in my chest. "Just happened? Like tripping and falling into my husband's bed?" Sophia flinched. "It wasn't like that. Max told me he was separated. I didn't know." "Save it." I cut her off. "I don't want to hear your excuses. You and Max deserve each other." I turned to leave, but her next words stopped me cold. "Anna, wait. There's something you should know about Max, about why he really left." I hesitated, torn between my desire to know and my need to protect what was left of my heart. "What are you talking about?" Sophia glanced around nervously. "Not here. Can we go somewhere private?" Against my better judgment, I nodded. As we walked to a nearby park, my mind raced with possibilities. What could Sophia possibly know that I didn't? And more importantly, did I really want to find out? As we sat on a bench, Sophia took a deep breath. "Anna, the truth is, Max didn't leave just because of me. There's someone else, someone who's been in his life for a long time." The world tilted on its axis as I processed her words. Someone else. How many lies had Max told? And who was this mysterious other person? As Sophia opened her mouth to continue, I braced myself for a revelation that I knew would change everything. I stared at Sophia, my heart pounding in my chest. "What do you mean, someone else? Who?" She took a deep breath, her eyes darting nervously. It's Lily." The world tilted on its axis. "Lily, his mother? What are you talking about?" Sophia's voice dropped to a whisper. "Max has been embezzling from Lily's accounts for years. He's been using her Alzheimer's as a cover." I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. That's impossible. I've been taking care of Lily. I would have noticed." "Would you?" Sophia challenged. "Max handled all the finances. He kept you busy with her day-to-day care." My mind raced, piecing together fragments of memories. The times Max insisted on handling the bills alone. The lavish gifts he'd buy for no reason. The way he'd change the subject whenever I asked about our finances. "Oh, God," I whispered, feeling sick. "How long have you known?" Sophia had the grace to look ashamed. "I found out a few weeks ago. That's why I ended things with him. I couldn't be part of that." Anger flared in my chest. "But you were fine being part of destroying my marriage?" She flinched. "I told you, I didn't know he was married. But this is different. It's criminal." I stood up abruptly, needing to move, to think. "I need proof. I can't just take your word for it." Sophia nodded, pulling out her phone. "I took pictures of some documents I found in his office. I'll send them to you." As the images loaded on my phone, my world crumbled around me. Bank statements, forged signatures, offshore accounts, all in Lily's name, all managed by Max. "I have to go," I said, my voice sounding distant to my own ears. "I need to check on Lily." Sophia caught my arm. "Anna, be careful. Max doesn't know I've told you. If he suspects—" I shook her off. "I can handle Max." But as I hurried towards Lily's house, doubt crept in. Could I really handle this? The man I thought I knew, the man I'd loved for over a decade, was a stranger to me now. I let myself into Lily's house with the spare key, finding her dozing in her favorite armchair. Relief washed over me at the sight of her, peaceful and unaware of the storm brewing around her. "Anna?" Lily's eyes fluttered open. "Is that you, dear?" I knelt beside her, taking her frail hand in mine. "Yes, Lily, it's me. How are you feeling?" She smiled, the familiar confusion clouding her eyes. "Oh, I'm fine. But where's Max? He was supposed to take me to the bank today." My blood ran cold. "The bank? What for?" Lily's brow furrowed. "Something about changing my accounts. He said it was important." Panic surged through me. Was Max planning to clean out her accounts and run? I had to stop him. "Lily, listen to me," I said urgently. "I need you to stay here. Don't go anywhere with Max, okay? I'll be back soon." She nodded, already drifting back to sleep. I kissed her forehead and rushed out, dialing my mother's number. "Mom, I need your help," I said as soon as she answered. "Can you come stay with Lily? It's an emergency." "Of course, honey. What's going on?" I took a deep breath, steeling myself. "I can't explain now, but I think Max is about to do something terrible. I have to stop him. As I hung up, a text from an unknown number popped up on my screen. Meet me at the Oakwood Bank in 30 minutes if you want to save Lily's money. Come alone. My hands shook as I stared at the message. This was it, the moment of truth. I could walk away, let Max deal with the consequences of his actions. Or I could fight for Lily, for justice, for everything I'd lost. Taking a deep breath, I made my decision. It was time to face Max, and whatever came next, head on. As I got into my car, I realized that the woman who had started this journey, the devoted wife, the selfless caretaker, was gone. In her place stood someone new, someone stronger, someone ready for a fight. The Oakwood Bank loomed before me, its glass facade reflecting the late afternoon sun. My hands trembled as I gripped the steering wheel, steeling myself for the confrontation ahead. Taking a deep breath, I stepped out of the car and marched towards the entrance. Max was waiting in the lobby, his face a mask of cool indifference. Anna, I'm surprised you came. Cut the act, Max, I hissed. I know what you've been doing to Lily's money. His eyes widened for a fraction of a second before narrowing. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me, I snapped, my voice echoing in the quiet lobby. A few heads turned our way. Sophia told me everything, the embezzlement, the offshore accounts. How could you do this to your own mother? Max's facade cracked, revealing a flash of panic. Keep your voice down, he growled, grabbing my arm and steering me towards a more secluded corner. I yanked my arm free. Don't touch me. You've lost that right. He ran a hand through his hair, his composure slipping. Look, Anna, it's not what you think. I was just managing her assets. By stealing from her? I scoffed. You're pathetic, Max. His eyes hardened. You don't understand. I had debts, investments that went south. I was going to pay it all back. With what? More of Lily's money? I shook my head in disgust. I won't let you do this. Max's expression turned dangerous. You can't stop me, Anna. I have power of attorney. Not for long, I countered. I've already called Lily's lawyer. He's on his way with the police. The color drained from Max's face. You're bluffing. Try me, I challenged, praying he couldn't see through my lie. For a moment, we stood in tense silence, the weight of years of betrayal and lies hanging between us. Then Max's shoulders slumped in defeat. What do you want? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. I want you to make this right, I said firmly. Sign over your power of attorney to me. I'll manage Lily's affairs from now on. Max's eyes flashed with anger. And what about her inheritance? You expect me to just hand that over too? I felt a surge of righteous fury. That inheritance was never yours to begin with, Max. It belongs to Lily, and after her, it should go to charity, just like she always wanted. He laughed bitterly. And what about you, Anna? Don't tell me you never thought about that money. Unlike you, I spat, I actually care about Lily. I'm not in this for the money. Max's face contorted with rage. You sanctimonious bitch. You think you're so much better than me? Before I could react, he lunged forward, grabbing my purse. If I can't have the money, neither can you. We grappled for the bag, drawing alarmed looks from the bank staff. In the struggle, the contents of my purse spilled onto the floor, including the phone with the incriminating evidence. Max dove for the phone, but I was quicker. I snatched it up, backing away from him. It's over, Max. You've lost. Security guards approached, alerted by the commotion. Max's eyes darted between me and the exits, panic written across his face. This isn't over, he snarled, before turning and bolting towards the door. As the guards gave chase, I sank onto a nearby chair, my legs suddenly weak. The full weight of what had just happened crashed over me. I had stood up to Max, protected Lily, but at what cost? My phone buzzed with a message from Mom. Lily's asking for you. She seems agitated. What's going on? Reality came crashing back. This wasn't over yet. I still had to break the news to Lily, deal with the legal fallout, and somehow put the pieces of my shattered life back together. As I stood to leave, a steely resolve settled over me. I had survived Max's betrayal and fought back against his schemes. Whatever came next, I would face it head-on. For Lily, for myself, and for the woman I was becoming, stronger, wiser, and ready to reclaim her life. The lawyer's office felt suffocating, the tension palpable as I sat across from Max and Sophia. My hands trembled slightly, but I clenched them tightly, determined not to show weakness. Let's get this over with, Max growled, his eyes darting between me and his lawyer. I took a deep breath. I want full control of Lily's finances and medical decisions, and I want a fair division of our assets. Max scoffed. You're delusional. You have no right to Lily's affairs. I have every right, I countered, my voice steady. I've been her primary caregiver for years, and I have evidence of your embezzlement. His face paled. You're bluffing. I pulled out a folder, sliding it across the table. Bank statements, forged signatures, offshore accounts, it's all here. Max's lawyer leafed through the documents, his expression growing grave. He whispered something to Max, whose face contorted with rage. You conniving bitch, he snarled. You set me up. Sophia shifted uncomfortably. Max, maybe we should. Shut up, he snapped at her. This is all your fault. If you hadn't opened your big mouth. Enough, I interrupted, slamming my hand on the table. This ends now, Max. You have two choices. Settle fairly, or I go to the police. The room fell silent, the weight of my ultimatum hanging heavy in the air. Max's eyes darted around like a cornered animal searching for escape. Finally, his shoulders slumped. Fine. What do you want? Relief washed over me, but I kept my expression neutral. Full custody of Lily, half of our marital assets, and you sign over your power of attorney. Max's lawyer leaned in, whispering furiously, but Max waved him off. Just do it. I want this over. As the lawyers drafted the agreement, I felt a strange mix of triumph and sadness. This was the end of my marriage, the final nail in the coffin of a life I'd thought was perfect. Sophia cleared her throat. Anna, I'm sorry. For everything. I met her gaze, seeing genuine remorse there. I'm not the one you should be apologizing to, I said quietly, nodding towards Lily's photo on the desk. As we signed the papers, a commotion outside caught our attention. The door burst open, and Lily stumbled in, looking confused and agitated. Max? Anna, what's going on? She asked, her voice trembling. My heart sank. Lily, you shouldn't be here. How did you? I followed you, she said, her eyes darting between us. Why are you all looking at me like that? What's happening? Max stood, reaching for her. Mom, it's okay. We're just sorting out some paperwork. But Lily recoiled from his touch. Don't lie to me. I may be old, but I'm not stupid. You're fighting over my money, aren't you? The room fell silent, shame written across every face. Lily's eyes filled with tears. Is this all I am to you? A bank account? No, Lily, I said softly, moving towards her. We're trying to protect you. She backed away, her expression hardening. Protect me? By going behind my back? I trusted you, Anna, both of you. The betrayal in her eyes cut me to the core. Everything I'd done for her. But in that moment, I realized the cost of my actions. Lily turned, stumbling towards the door. I need to get out of here. Lily, wait, I called, but she was already gone. I moved to follow, but Max grabbed my arm. Let her go. You've done enough damage. Anger flared within me. Me? You're the one who... A crash from the hallway cut me off, then a scream that chilled my blood. Lily, I cried, breaking free from Max's grip and rushing out. The sight that greeted me stopped me in my tracks. Lily lay crumpled at the bottom of the stairs, motionless. As I ran to her, my mind raced. How had everything gone so wrong? In trying to protect Lily, had I inadvertently caused her harm? The weight of my choices pressed down on me as I knelt beside her still form, praying for a miracle and wondering if I'd ever be able to forgive myself if the worst had happened. The hospital waiting room was a blur of activity, but I felt frozen in time. Lily's frail form, crumpled at the bottom of those stairs, was seared into my mind. How could I have let this happen? Mrs. Lawson? A doctor approached, his face unreadable. I stood on shaky legs. Yes? How is she? Your mother-in-law is stable, but she's suffered a severe concussion and a broken hip. We'll need to operate. Relief and dread warred within me. Can I see her? The doctor nodded, leading me to Lily's room. She looked so small, so fragile in that hospital bed. Her eyes fluttered open as I approached. Anna? Her voice was barely a whisper. I took her hand, fighting back tears. I'm here, Lily. I'm so sorry. She squeezed my hand weakly. Not your fault. I overheard everything. My heart sank. Lily? No, she interrupted. I need to say this. Max, he's been lying to me for years, hasn't he? I nodded, unable to speak past the lump in my throat. Lily's eyes filled with tears. And you've been protecting me, all this time. I should have told you, I whispered. I thought I was doing the right thing. She managed a small smile. You were. You are. Anna, I want you to have everything. I blinked in confusion. What? My estate, my care. I trust you, not Max. You. Before I could respond, the door burst open. Max stormed in, followed closely by Sophia. Get away from her. Max snarled at me. Lily's grip on my hand tightened. No, Max, you're the one who needs to leave. Max's face contorted with rage. Mom, you don't understand. She's trying to steal your money. The only thief here is you, Lily said, her voice stronger now. I heard everything. How could you, Max? Your own mother? Max paled, realizing he'd been caught. He turned to Sophia, desperation in his eyes. Tell them it was your idea. Sophia recoiled. What, Max? I never. Liar. Max lunged at Sophia, but I stepped between them. That's enough, I shouted. Both of you, out, now! As if on cue, hospital security appeared, escorting Max and Sophia from the room. I turned back to Lily, my heart racing. I'm so sorry you had to see that, I said softly. Lily shook her head. No, I needed to. Anna, I want to change my will. Right now. Lily, you don't have to. I do, she insisted. I want you to have everything, to use it how you see fit. I felt overwhelmed. But what about Max? He's your son. Lily's eyes hardened. He stopped being my son the moment he betrayed me. And you've been more family to me than he ever was. As Lily's lawyer was called and the new will drawn up, I felt a strange mix of emotions. Triumph, yes, but also a deep sadness for the family that had been torn apart. Hours later, as I left the hospital, exhausted but relieved that Lily was resting comfortably, I found Sophia waiting for me in the parking lot. Anna, wait, she called out. I need to talk to you. I turned, wary. What is it, Sophia? She wrung her hands nervously. I want to make things right. I have information about Max, about other things he's done. I want to help you take him down. I studied her face, searching for any sign of deceit. Why now? Sophia's eyes filled with tears, because I was wrong about everything, and I'm tired of being part of his lies. As I stood there considering Sophia's offer, I realized I was at a crossroads. I could walk away, content with what I'd already won. Or I could push further, expose Max completely, ensure he could never hurt anyone again. The choice I made in that moment would change everything. And as I opened my mouth to respond, I knew there was no turning back. The cafe bustled with the lunchtime crowd, but my focus remained laser-sharp on the door. When Max and Sophia walked in, arm in arm, my heart raced with a mix of anticipation and righteous anger. Welcome to Ellen's Cafe, I said, plastering on my best customer service smile. Right this way, please. Max's eyes widened in recognition. Anna, what are you doing here? I work here now, I replied coolly, leading them to a secluded corner booth. Today's special is revenge, served ice cold. Sophia shifted uncomfortably. Anna, I save it. I cut her off. You'll both want to try our chef's special. It's to die for. As I walked away, I could feel their eyes boring into my back. In the kitchen, I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what was to come. I returned with 2 plates of the most extravagant yet utterly inedible dishes I could concoct. Overcooked pasta drowning in a sauce that was more salt than flavor, garnished with wilted herbs and what appeared to be burnt cheese. Enjoy, I said, setting the plates down with a flourish. Max poked at his meal suspiciously. What is this supposed to be? It's called betrayal à la mode, I replied sweetly. I thought it fitting. Sophia took a tentative bite and immediately spat it out. This is disgusting. I demand to speak to the manager. You're looking at her, I said, my smile never wavering. Ellen was kind enough to give me full control of the cafe today. Consider this my parting gift to you both. Max stood abruptly, his face red with anger. You think this is funny? You've lost everything, Anna. Your marriage, your home, and now you're working in this dump? Pathetic. I laughed, a sound that surprised even me with its genuine mirth. Oh, Max, you really don't get it, do you? I haven't lost anything of value. But you've lost everything. On cue, the cafe door opened, and in walked Lily, supported by my mother Ruth, and flanked by 2 stern-looking men in suits. Max's face drained of color. Mom, what are you doing here? Lily's voice was steel. Watching justice being served, son. One of the suited men stepped forward. Maxwell Lawson, I'm Detective Johnson. You're under arrest for embezzlement and elder financial abuse. As the detective read Max his rights, Sophia leapt to her feet. This is ridiculous. You can't do this. In her haste, she knocked over a waiter carrying a tray of drinks. The resulting crash and splash of liquid caused a commotion, drawing the attention of everyone in the cafe. Assault! The waiter cried out, perhaps a bit too dramatically. She assaulted me. Before I knew it, Sophia was being escorted out in handcuffs as well, protesting loudly about the injustice of it all. As the dust settled, I found myself standing alone in the middle of the cafe, surrounded by applauding customers who had just witnessed what they thought was an impromptu piece of dinner theater. Lily approached me, her eyes twinkling. "Well done, my dear. I'd say that was a performance worthy of Broadway." I hugged her gently, mindful of her recent injuries. "I couldn't have done it without you, Lily, or you, Mom," I added as Ruth joined our embrace. As we sat down to enjoy a proper meal, one that was actually edible, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The past few months had been a whirlwind of pain, betrayal, and self-discovery. But here, in this moment, I realized I had emerged stronger, wiser, and surrounded by the love of my true family. "So, what's next for you, Anna?" Ruth asked, squeezing my hand. I smiled, looking around the cafe that had become my sanctuary. "I think I might buy this place. Turn it into something really special." Lily nodded approvingly. "And what about love? Surely a strong, beautiful woman like you won't stay single for long." I laughed, feeling a blush creep up my cheeks as I caught the eye of Tom, the handsome regular who had been leaving me generous tips and kind notes for weeks. "Who knows?" I said, raising my glass in a toast. "But whatever comes next, I'm ready for it. Here's to new beginnings and to the family we choose." As we clinked glasses, I felt a surge of hope and excitement for the future. The old Anna, the doormat, the victim, was gone. In her place stood a woman who had faced her demons, fought for justice, and come out victorious. And that woman